Alright, Adeshamamba, aha, eya ayiho TV na eye video bi trendy ewo social media. Eye Godfred Odame edi nsem bi asuja. Na eno na Ghana fo bi chese na MPP for the empa na baya chese omotena wo man ndc for the atro na da sep chese etumi echinchim emane every woman. So meanwhile seno na ndc for enim say credibility ni ekoma eye MPP ama ekoni pa eba ne say ebusiansem na ye bebre mborem na yekotie Godfred Odame ano di nsem odi to journey bi emba.
Thank you. The last one, what led to the termination of the PDS agreement, if you have any information on that?
And what led to
the termination of the PDS agreement? The PDS agreement.
PDS agreement.
Yes, we move on from PDS.
Wow, that's a very. Okay, so I'll just comment briefly by saying that when the new patriotic party government took office in January 2017, there had already been commenced a process which would result in private sector participation in power supply or power distribution in the country. Now, that process had actually resulted in about 6 foreign firms being shortlisted. An essential ingredient of the process was for local participation, and I think that the S1 administration had set out a requirement of 80% to 20%, in the sense, so 80% foreign participation, 20% local participation. And so when the MPP government took office in 2017, it continued the process. Of the foreign firms, one of them qualified for no accounts.
Chairman, sorry, Mr. Honorable Nominee, just to enrich it, because this is a meeting of record.
Yes.
When the MPP took power, contextualize it with MIDA.
With MIDA?
Yes. The Millennium relationship with the United States of America.
Sure.
And the fact that, just for the record.
That's right. That's for the record. The private sector participation process itself was sponsored by the Millennium Challenge Corporation of the United States of America. And for that purpose, an entity called Millennium Development Authority had been set up, had a board, and what have you. So Miracle of Philippines is a company which emerged the winner of the competitive tender process. But the only alteration or amendment of the rules which the MPP government ensured was to boost local sector participation and required that the foreign firm which won will enter into again a consortium with local participants, and the quantum was increased to 51%. The local sector participation increased from 20% to 51%, with foreign being 49%. Miracle formed this entity called PDS, and that's the vehicle. PDS was composed of Miracle plus other local companies. Now, conditions precedents were set out in the various transaction agreements. There were 2 major transaction agreements: lease assignment agreements and bulk supply agreements, executed between Electricity Company of Ghana and PDS, Power Distribution Service Limited. Mr. Chairman, the government of Ghana, acting through the Ministry of Finance, also executed the GSA agreement with PDS. Mr. Chairman, the conditions precedent to the transfer of the assets of ECG to PDS were 41. 5 of them were very essential and indispensable. Now, one of them, Mr. Chairman, was the requirement of the company PDS to produce what we call security. And the security was later on determined to be a demand guarantee from an insurance company for the transfer of assets to PDS. Mr. Chairman, a date 1st March 2019, if my memory serves me right, was set as a date for transfer of the assets. On 27 February 2019, PDS furnished what purported to be a demand guarantee from an insurance firm described as Output Insurance of Qatar. The chairman, ECG sought to confirm the authenticity and validity of the demand guarantee. Because of the constraint of time, ECG actually indicated to PDS that it was going to confirm the demand guarantee in form, but not in substance, and reserved the right to conduct further processes or investigations to ascertain the validity of the demand guarantees. The chairman, a letter dated, and once again I have some documents that effect. Chairman, a letter was written by ECG to Output.
Chairman, we appreciate that the nominee is detailed, but you see in your answer, you said condition precedent.
Yes.
What our honorable colleague wants to know, what informed the abrogation? As I understand.
The termination.
Yes.
Guarantee. And it says, Chairman, the series of, but the letter confirming it, dated 13 March 2018. The letter is here. I just find a little print to read. Chairman, ECG appeared not to be satisfied with the confirmation or purported confirmation by Output, where the letter was on the face of it signed by a middle-ranking officer of Output Insurance. ECG got in touch with our mission in Qatar to physically ascertain from the offices of Output whether such a letter has been issued. And then, surprisingly, Chairman, in the course of it, by a letter dated 16 July 2019, Output wrote through its chief executive denying issuing any demand guarantee at all. Output further indicated that it did not even have the capacity to issue such demand guarantees. Further, the officer in question had forged the earlier letter purporting to confirm the demand guarantee. Also, as per the laws of Qatar, Output could not even have issued such a guarantee because it required confirmation by the Central Bank of Qatar. Chairman, this indeed took the president by surprise. The president thus constituted a team to go to Qatar to ascertain the truth of all these matters. The team was led by the Minister for Interior, then Mr. Mbezeri, had myself as a member, had other members of the Ghana, had some members of the Ghana Police Service also as members, lawyers of Ghana. Chairman, indeed, we met all the top executive of Output Insurance, the chief executive officer, their lawyers, and we also met their chairman. They confirmed the truth of all the matters contained in their letter repudiating the demand guarantees. And that our report confirms all these matters. They further confirmed that the officer in question had, by a letter dated 21st July 2019, been suspended without any pay at all. The president was very concerned because assets of the nation worth about $3 billion were at stake. And therefore, if there had been a failure of an essential condition precedent, which more or less had the effect of guaranteeing the transfer of the assets of ECG, then action had to be taken promptly. ECG suspended the lease assignment agreement as well as the bulk supply agreement. And then the Minister of Finance also suspended the agreement and executed with PDS. And that was to pave way for further investigations. Indeed, the government of Ghana went beyond it and took the steps of engaging the Millennium Challenge Corporation in the United States of America. And that delegation was dispatched by the president, led by the Minister for Foreign Affairs and the Minister for Finance, and I was also a member, and other persons, members of government also part of the team. Mr. Chairman, our point was just simple, to ensure that the assets of the country will be properly protected and nothing else. In the course of time, the Millennium Challenge Corporation itself had also conducted their own investigations. Mr. Chairman, and the report was by an entity called FTI Consulting, dated 30th August 2019. And their report, with all respect, made for very interesting reading. And they indicated at page 19, so the font size is very small. That's why I thought that was flagged. I'm sorry. That real authority, that based on our review of the document, output does not seem. It does not seem, I'm sorry, that's Mr. Nuri. Mr. Nuri is the gentleman, the rogue gentleman who had executed all those documents on behalf of output. It does not seem that Mr. Nuri was authorized to execute the guarantees, although the technical document authority list includes Mr. Nuri as an authorized signatory to technical documents. It fails to define or detail what is meant by a technical document. Then he further went on to say that while there was no provisions in local law that set out the concept and doctrine of apparent authority. So the FTI company went ahead to make the finding that even though the gentleman who had signed the letters on the basis of which the demand guarantees had been allegedly issued by output did not have real authority, under the laws of Qatar, the government of Ghana could proceed against the insurance company in Qatar on the doctrine of what it called apparent authority. And that apparent authority was per a decision of the court of Qatar. Now, Chairman, the alternative to all of this was that the court of Qatar did not apply the doctrine of stare decisis. They did not. Secondly, it would also have been, with all respect, a little bit incongruous and irresponsible for the government of Ghana to proceed all the way to Qatar to engage in litigation to confirm the validity of a demand guarantee based on a decision of a court of Qatar which was not binding on the court of Qatar. In the face of all of this, after about 3 or 4 months of an opportunity given to PDS to produce another valid demand guarantee, and same had not been duly taken, the government of Ghana, or ECJ, decided to terminate the agreement. So this, with all respect, constitutes the material fact resulting in a termination of the demand guarantee. And I think that it was very proper and right in the circumstances.
Very well. Can I just not the date of termination?
Yes, that's
for the PDS agreement. Just quote it for our purpose.